Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day. This is Brandy with Artisan Bee Boutique, and I'm just back today to show you another new handmade journal. This one is made from an altered file folder, and I did a lot of collage work on this one, decoupaging with paper napkins, painting, stamping, all kinds of fun stuff on this one. So this one is just very vintage inspired. I love how it turned out. It's a junk journal. It's got all kinds of stuff in it, all kinds of vintage and vintage ephemera, vintage book pages. I've got all kinds of loose stuff in there for you as well, so that you can just have so much fun playing with this journal and making it your own and just kind of decorating the inside exactly how you like it. This one took me a little bit longer to make because I started the cover several days ago. There was, obviously drying process, cutting and just putting everything together, and the drying process for the different stages of decoupaging. But to the base is basically, I did, again, I said a file folder, and I altered it by using vintage book pages that are all sealed down to the surface. I did that on both sides of the file folder so that you have a beautiful vintage, true vintage surface on the inside and the outside. And then once the pages were all down, were all glued down and dried, I did stenciling, or not stenciling, I did stamping with my vintage images. And then the flowers that you see, these are all from paper napkins that I cut out and just decoupage those on as well. And then there's you'll see some acrylic paints, you'll see some inking, you'll see some gold accents that I did with this as well. And I just did it in many layers, so there's a lot of just good fun stuff on here. I did a sewn binding, a pamphlet stitch, excuse me, binding. It's one signature, but it's quite thick because I put a lot of removable ephemera pieces in there for you that you can just have and use as you wish, whether it be in this journal or in a different journal. So you can remove those and then it won't be as thick. But it is a fairly sturdy hardcover, I would say. I did a tulle tie closure, and I just knotted the ends of the tulle. I love using tulle as a tie closure because it just gives it, especially in my vintage journals, it gives it a nice accent, just a nice vintagey look. And then I did a little bulb pin with a shell button and some string and some beads on the end of the string, accent for you to decorate the front with. And then again, so you can tie this however you want, but I just did it like kind of a loop style tie. And then I just have a nice little coordinating piece of yarn here too that just kind of has a nice fray on the ends for accent. And then the tulle, and I just slid that through like a loop, but you can just wrap it around and tie it however you wish. And once that comes off, you can see that this guy, or this girl, is very thick. I don't think I can zoom, there we go. Zoom out a little bit so you can see it's got a lot of thickness to it. Here's your spine. So when you open this all the way up, you can see the beautiful spine. Turn this way. Just a nice lace covered spine, and the spine before I put the lace on was reinforced with masking tape and then decoupaged over it. So it's just a good sturdy spine, and it covers your stitching as well. So this is a full view of the collage art that I did on this. I really just love how this came out. Some people might think it's a little busy. I just love just the array of different things to look at. There's just so much to look at on this one, and just discover little words here and there, and just different little images like bicycles and butterflies and things like that. And I love this lady stamp. I got these stamps, the vintage stamps that you see on here. I got these a set on Amazon, I believe. Okay, and again, here's a kind of like a view of the thickness, and there's just so much good stuff in here. When it stands up, got a lot to look at there. All right, so let's take a look inside. Make sure I'm in focus here. Okay, so when you open it up, this was again an altered an altered file folder, just a a manila file folder. Vanilla would be nice too. File folder that you buy in any, any office supply or Amazon or Walmart or any place like that. And what I did was I used the flaps that I trimmed off of the outside or off the original piece. I cut it down to the size that I wanted, and I took the flaps and I used these as pocket belly band style pockets on the inside. So those are fully decorated as well to match the front cover. And then I've even added some additional cards that I made, that I collaged and decoupaged, did the same thing that I did on the covers throughout. So these are large cards that you can use for journaling or photos. You'll see I don't know if you can really see that gold on there. I did like a gold, it's a gold paint, but it's a thick paint, so I just kind of used my finger and rubbed around the edges with that to give that look. There's also, I think I said acrylic paint, but there's also like splattered acrylic paint, there's splattered coffee. It's just all kinds of good stuff in there. So there's that large card. And the large cards, the journal, before I go any further, measures, let's see, about 11.5 inches long, fully opened. So you got 8.5 tall by 6, so 8.5 by 6. I have this measuring mat here and I totally forget that it's there, so I didn't use it. Anyway, so each pocket in here throughout, and when I take these out, you'll notice that this is the inside. So you've got, again, just beautiful vintage book page collaged on there, decoupaged on there, and then you'll see your acrylic paint in there and your coffee stain. It's just like, and the gold paint, I've run that through on the inside as well. There's just a lot of detail. This was a really fun journal to make for me. It was very artsy for me, and I love feeling like I'm just creating something just completely unique, that's just only something, that my ideas. I just put some fun tickets in here for you to play with. You can dye the, like use these for your ephemera. And there's all throughout this journal, there's vintage book pages and just fun things tucked inside of all the pockets and places for you to play with and journal, collage with, or whatever you want to do with these. So, and this was just a fussy cut piece of cardstock, and I inked the edges on that. And then this was just a piece of a book that I had that I cut that out and add that for you. I just thought that was a neat old ad. Vintage hymnal or music book. And then this cardstock, this is a textured cardstock, and they just did like a little paper ruffle there. And then use the same cardstock to make a pocket here. And in this pocket, you've got some more vintage book pages. And the full page is there, so you can have fun with these and just use these to decorate further. Sorry, you have to watch me slide these back in. Everything went in very easy the first time, and it never seems to do that the second time. Okay, they do fit, I promise. Okay, and there's an assortment of different writing papers in here, so lots of journaling space as well. You have like the bullet style paper, and I didn't ink or distress every single page. I want to be able to leave a lot of this inside of this journal up to your creativity, so that you can just make it look the way you want it to look instead of, all of it being the way I wanted it to look. I express my, artsy, fun, creative stuff mostly on the covers and things like that. So the inside is for you to just really enjoy and play with. Coloring book pages, and I did a little stamping on some of the pages too. This coloring book was fun because it's got your white side and then your black side. And then, again, more vintage book page. This was from an old vintage or an old Sears Roebuck. I think it was like a reproduction of one of their catalogs from back in the 1800s. And then some nice scrap of paper there, and that just folded over a little bit. And here's another one of my collaged pieces that I've added to this. And again, these are also made out of the additional folder, the rest of the folder. So I didn't waste any piece of the folder. All the pieces got used up in this. So this is another one of those, and you can see all those details in there. And then this is a vintage cookbook page. Soups, and this is a Sunday supper soup recipe. I thought that was neat. And you got your whole recipe there, so you can actually use that. And again, just some assorted writing papers and game pages. This I did all the stamping on this as well, and that's just stamped onto coffee dyed paper, and then I just added it to the back side of this coloring book page, and I just thought it gave a really nice contrast. And you can still even color in these sections and just really make it look really cool. And then another tuck spot there from the scrapbook paper that I fussy cut, and just some coffee dyed paper and some dictionary page writing papers here. More cardstock, and this pocket I made from a coffee dyed CD case, and then I've tucked in an ephemera inside here for you. So you've got a vintage, I think this was a friend, it was in a part of a pack that I got on Amazon, and some old ads from some old books or magazines, I'm not sure which. And then I put an envelope in here for you too that you can coffee stain, or you can ink and stamp on, and then make that part of your journal somewhere. And then here's just a cardstock for a craft cardstock postcard. So lots of good stuff tucked in there. So you can see why this is so thick, because there's a lot of fun loose pieces in here that you can pull out and do what you want with. This was from a 1950s vintage, or I keep saying vintage, 1950s Scrabble dictionary. More coffee dyed coloring book, coloring page. And then another little ruffle, paper ruffle there. And here I've tucked in some more ephemera for you. So more of that Scrabble page, and then this was some recipes in an old magazine. And I folded it over because I just love the vintage ephemera, and this came from like a 1970s, I believe, magazine, like a Woman's Day or something like that. So it's got like some little recipes on this side, and the other side is like an old ad for some grape jelly. I love stuff like this, and I just tuck it in there because I figure whoever is the receiver of this album will get to take these things out, and they can use them in other journals or just in other ways that they want to. This is some tracing paper here with a little stamping on there. And then this I made just a little pocket, and this one just is for you to stick in a picture or a note or something like that in there. This was a vintage book. This was a cool book that I found in one of the antique stores that was about how to utilize, you know, I'm not really sure how to describe it. It says more heat from less fuel. So back in the 50s, I think this was, it just tells you how to like properly heat your home and things like that, but without using a whole lot of, you know, a lot of fuel. And then on the other sides, you'll see more of that. And then the middle, just some more writing paper. That's the center. And you can use your, these are handmade paper beads that I made, and I sealed those with like a glitter Mod Podge to make them kind of sparkly and pretty and stand out. I try to pick colors of the beads I've already made to just kind of go with the color scheme of the journal. So I thought this looked nice with the leaves. This like just green, tones of green with the leaves on the front where the flowers are. I have to get a drink of water. Excuse me. So those are long enough for you to have them coming out the top or the bottom, or both on the bottom, both on the top, however you like that. Just a nice little accent. And this page is cool. It says new uses for old things, and there's just a lot of cool old-timey, you know, actually you could use today still. Tells you about light bulbs and powder puffs and plaster ornaments, things that you don't think about today. What to do with an old broom. I mean, we just throw everything away nowadays. Gas and electric telephone, ways and means to save on these utilities. Some more writing paper and some more of that vintage book page. And there's another little pocket. In this one I just tucked in a little paint sample that you can alter that or make a snippet out of that. Some more, this is some more tracing paper, but in this one I attached a vintage book page that you can see through, so I just like the way that looks with the little, kind of tones it down a little bit. But on the other side of this book, and yes, that was bleed through from the original book, this has some really cool quotes. And then another scrapbook page with a little tuck spot, and this was just a coffee dyed sheet that I also collaged with just stamping, and a removable note sheet there. Another clipping from a vintage magazine, 1970s, I believe. I had a lot of vintage magazines at one time that I had clipped a lot of stuff out of, and I just kind of put it in a bin, and so I have to try to remember where they came from, but they were mostly Women's Day and Family Circle type magazines. And again, these are Scrabble, 1950s Scrabble dictionary. This is kind of like a calendar page. I did a little stamping along there. This was a cardstock pocket that I made, and you can tuck your things inside here, and there's just like a kind of tag ready for you to personalize and make it your own. And then I've just got some loose lace here clipped in and some fabric. And I just kind of collaged this a little bit right here. And this piece actually pulls out here. So it's another little just scrap piece of vintage book page, and then some playing cards and things like that. Some more ephemera. This one is attached, so it's a tuck spot here. And then this is another a smaller card that I made from the file folder. If you can see some of that detail there. And here's just a large index card for journaling, and another Sears catalog page. And then this is actually a clip that an altered clip that I made just for another fun accent. And that whole thing comes off, and you can move it around wherever you want. Let me get this. Oops, I just messed up the whole thing. This one I intentionally put a lot of loose pieces in. I intentionally wanted you to be able to come in and decorate this the way you want to and make it personal to you. This is salads and dressings, artichoke hearts and lime aspic. I don't know what that is, but it's got the whole recipe there, so if you're interested. I like the cool illustrations on these pages. I love the color of the pages as well. These I reinforced too before I sewed them in, so you'll see some paper sticking up there, but I reinforced both sides of this with some extra paper just to protect it from tearing out easily. Because when you get those old book pages, they can tear out pretty easy if you're not careful. And there's another altered card that I made, and this is just a piece of floral scrap paper. And more vintage book page there. More vintage book page and Tim Holtz tickets. Whenever you see these tickets throughout, except for the very first ones. The very first ones back here, these I got in a large quantity actually at Dollar Tree. And those are cool to also coffee dye and just do different fun things with that. But these type of tickets, these are Tim Holtz. Another pocket here with some pullouts, just some coffee stained pieces of different pieces of paper that you can use to make your own stuff with. Another stamping collage card that I made, or tag that I made. And then this is just some coffee dyed paper that I threw in, just some spare scraps. If I was buying a junk journal, I would love one that was just filled with things that I can pull out and use the way I want to use them. Not everything has to be attached, I don't think. I think that it's more fun to kind of, when you receive it, to make it your own. This came out of a paper pad that I bought a long time ago, and I just thought it was a really cool pattern. It's unusual. I don't remember what the paper pad was called, but it's just got a cool texture, like a matte texture, but with the florals and the jewels, it was just really pretty. I have kept some paper forever. I've had some paper for so many years, and I've always thought, oh, I should get rid of that. Never going to use it, but I just keep it. And I have gotten rid of a lot of stuff. I helped my sister out by giving her some stuff for her junk journals and her scrapbooks that she likes to do. And even with all that I got rid of when I moved into the RV, I still have so much stuff that I've had for years. Just a couple little pieces of ephemera here, some maps, and another little ticket there, another card, another ticket, and then here's the back page and another belly band style. This is a belly band style pocket that I did on the back. And again, you can just see this beautiful, just the depth of all the color in this from all the different, the coffee and the paint and the gold edging and just all the different things that were on there. I wanted the inside to look different from the outside, so that's why I like this contrast. So this is kind of what the outside looks like, but I wanted the inside to have a little bit different, you know, so I didn't do all the paint and the, you know, the decoupaging and stuff on the inside. And here you just have some, I put in a cute little mini paper bag that you can have fun with. And just some scrap paper, again, a vintage guest check. This was in such pristine condition. I got so many of these, and you'll see them in a lot of my journals. I ordered them years ago from, I want to say a seller on either Etsy or eBay. I don't remember, but they sent me a ton of them, and like they were just in perfect condition. They just had, like, they were never used, just pads that never got used. So I love those. I like to add them in, and these are great for making your own tags out of and stamping on them and things like that. And then another cool, I love these, these looks, these fashions from the old days, and the prices. Oh my goodness. And just some more, just book page for you to play with. So as you can see, this journal is chock full. So here's the back. So you can kind of get a good look of that full design there. And again, this was just napkins that I found at Target, and I just used those to kind of really dress up the front. And you're gonna love the way this feels. It just has, with all the different elements, it just has such a fun texture, like touching it, it's just got a cool feel. And I love that lace on there. And I attached this with fabric fix, so you don't have to worry about that coming apart or coming off. That's some good stuff. Again, the front cover. There's just like a little bit closer up of some of the detail. Hopefully I'm staying in focus here. Okay. I personally like these hanging out at the bottom, but depends on where you store it. Like if you keep it laying on a table, then them coming out of the bottom look really pretty, or the top. But actually, even on a shelf, because you'll still have that little like overhang. If it's sitting on a shelf, you'll still have that little overhang with the beads. And so that's it. That's the whole journal. I did not count the pages yet. I have this photographed, and I just need to edit the pictures. And this will be available for purchase in my Mercari shop very shortly, either tonight or by tomorrow at the latest. The link to my Mercari shop is on my channel below. And if you'd like to click on that and just take a look at everything I've got other journals, I've got lots of handmade jewelry, and just all kinds of fun stuff in my shop for you to take a look at. So that's it. That's this journal. This one was fun to make. I enjoyed this one. And again, you can tie this up however you want. You could even I like to leave enough so that if you want to tie it this way, you can too. It doesn't have to be around the center, but this one, to me, you can tie it like this. But to me, I like it better. I always enjoy it better this way. So just tie a nice big bow, and the tool just makes it cool because you can puff it out and just make it look super frilly if you want to. And if you don't like the frill, you take this off. I don't attach it, so you can just take it off, and you can put a different closure on it if you prefer something else. This I just add as a little accent. I don't tie it tight so you can remove it easily. So it's like that, and then I just put my little pin. I just love them to look really pretty when they're just sitting on a table or on a shelf, because not only is it a beautiful keepsake and a special treasure for you, but it's also something that, you know, you can have out and people can be like, oh wow, what is that? And, you know, just kind of take a look at it if you want to share it with it. A lot of these are journals are private, but this is the overall look of it when it's completely closed and tied up, and I think it just came out gorgeous. I really enjoyed this one. I love the look of it, and I know that some people are not a fan of the busyness of the stamping and everything, but I just love how this came out, and I might make one like this for myself because this one was a lot of fun. And I like the tool too because the tool allows you to see through, you know, you're not covering up too much on the covers and on the back. I did not add a title or anything to this cover because I thought that, in my opinion, that it was just perfect the way it was. I really enjoy the cover and the back looking the way it does. You know, if you are the receiver of this journal, obviously you can, you know, put a cover, collage, or anything you want on it, but I really enjoyed it the way it is. I really enjoy it the way it is, and if I was to keep it, I would definitely leave it as is, but the receiver can do whatever they want. That's the beauty of it. It's like a work of art that somebody started, and when you get it, you get to add to it and just kind of keep creating on top of what the creator already did. So it just makes it a really special, fun keepsake, and it can be a beautiful gift for somebody special. Again, this will be available in my Mercari shop. I just need to edit those pictures and get it listed. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow. I'm still pretty new to this. I'm still learning about editing and stuff. As you can see, my videos are very basic because I have not learned how to edit, but I am working on that. So we'll get better. But yeah, I'm going to keep posting videos of my finished journals as I make them, and I'll be doing some tutorials as well as I find things that I want to share with you of how to do if I think it's something that maybe, you know, can show a different way of doing something, or a new something new that maybe you haven't seen before. So anyway, I thank you guys for joining me for this time. I thank you for spending this time with me and looking through my journal. And I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks.